It's an honor to be here this morning, back to the home I love so much. How about you? On behalf of my mother, Costa, to my immediate and extended families, and to our many friends and acquaintances, I openly thank you for taking the time to be here today to honor and celebrate the life of my father, Albert Dennis Aloha Costa Sr. I would be remiss to thank the many men and women of the Honolulu Fire Department for setting aside the time to be with us today. I would ask that everyone here today to stand and give a big hand of applause for the selfless men and women we call our firefighters, who risk their lives I think that this is something that my father would have wanted and highly expected. From the New Testament of the book of John, I would like to read this passage. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and when I go, I will prepare a place for you and come again, and receive you unto me, that where I am, ye may also be. And whither I go, ye know, and know the way. Last October, I came home after too many years away, almost 30 years to be exact. My wife and I reside in Dallas, Texas, and I ask you not to hold that against me. But I long to come home to the place I love so much, and to meet and see my family after so many years. But prior to coming home, I had made myself an agenda, a personal bucket list, if you would, of things that I had intended to do while I was at home. But one thing on this list that was paramount to me was to find and meet my mother and my father, who I had not seen for so many years. Upon visiting, what I witnessed was not what I expected. What I remembered is my father as being a big, strong man, full of life and full of energy. But what I saw was a man nearing the end of his life. I saw a man who was very ill, bedridden and unable to care for himself. He was frail and very weak. He couldn't speak at the time, but was alert enough to realize that my two brothers and I had come to visit and were present within the room. For 4 long years, my mother had sacrificed and arranged her life to care for him and to sustain him. He required constant care, and she gave him that all she could give when she could give it. For this, I am forever grateful. But what I witnessed was love personified right before my eyes. Evident to me was her unconditional love that she had for my father. The greatest power known to man is that of unconditional love. Such a sense of profound love comes when we first forgive and accept ourselves for our limiting beliefs, mistakes, judgments, and misunderstandings, and apply the unconditional to us personally. We recognize our self-worth, value our talents, and allow ourselves to be who we are, rather than what we think others wish us to be. In turn, we naturally understand those around us and extend our helping hand without condition, judgment, or expectation. We see ourselves in the reflection of another and know that everyone deserves to love and be loved without condition. This is not a conditional love or the type of love one may try to use to earn favors or expect validation. Rather, it is a universal and unconditional love that recognizes the beauty in life every moment of each day. It is of a higher nature. It is a natural expression that does not expect an outcome. It is giving just for the sake of giving. It is in the sharing and giving of love to others that we receive the same that we give. Give love, and surely you will experience love in itself. Express love to those around you and those who come in contact with, and they will reflect back to you that same amount of love. Never once complaining, Mom graciously cared for my father, fed him, nurtured him, comforted and consoled him many times. And many times in neglecting to care for her very own self. Only when caring became unbearable would she seek help from my two sisters, Tisha and Luana, to help my dad. After so many years, it became very apparent to me that he had fostered a new family, a family that came to love him as the man that he was. My sister Tisha would build a special relationship with him and would call him Papa. She told me that he was a no-nonsense kind of guy, very hardworking, loyal, dedicated, and very dependable, and an avid provider. In his 32 years of service with the Honolulu Fire Department, my mother once told me she can never, ever remember him to have ever missed a single day of work. How many times have you personally called in sick, but in actuality, were not really sick, but used it as an excuse to miss work? My father was the ultimate civil servant and dedicated his life in serving and helping others. He served in the U.S. military for 23 years and fought in the Korean War. He joined the National Guard and the Air Force Reserve, where he retired with the rank of E5. I trust that my father's true calling and purpose in life was to serve and to help others. By becoming the ultimate servant, he served a combined total of 55 years as a soldier and a fireman, more than half his life. From the New Testament in the book of Philippians, it reads, "Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others." It also says, "I have shown you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, how he said, 'It is more blessed to give than to receive.'" Following his early years of military life, he then joined the Honolulu Fire Department, and after 32 years of dedicated service, retired as a rank of captain from the Waimanalo Fire Department, station number 27. I believe he loved his job and that the firehouse was his personal sanctuary. But when a man or a woman becomes a fireman, his greatest act of bravery has been accomplished. What he does after that is all in the line of duty. Firefighters, yes, are a different breed. They run to danger as most would try to escape. Firefighters are a different breed, they are. They also do the unexpected. Who runs into a blazing inferno for pennies on the dollar? Would you? They leave comfort and safety to answer the call. They forget to sleep, to serve strangers, and they hold firm even when the strongest of foundations begin to crumble. Murphy's Law is the idea that anything that can go wrong will go wrong at the wrong time. Firefighters are a different breed. They are such easy targets when things don't go right, when Murphy brings his law to bear. But they always come when called. They often go unnoticed until needed, but always are remembered in times of utmost desperation. They don't hold the place or position in the world against us, and they will save you regardless of their own aches and pains, regardless of their own limitations, regardless of who they think you are. Yes, firefighters are a different breed. They are merely men and women. They are just reminders of something that resides in all of us, a piece of us living in someone else, an idea that will never die as long as mankind survives. They are the front line between what we fear and what we hold most dear, and they are the epitome of a helping hand. They remind us all of something we have inside of us, of something we can call and aspire to. That imperfect arm reaching to the flames, that determined mind working to save you from a wreckage. So whether those things are literal or a metaphor, we all see ourselves when we gaze upon the sweaty, blackened, sooty face of a person we've never met and may never see again. So I ask you today, what is your purpose in life? For me, one of the most true purposes in life is to leave behind a legacy. In this context, I have read that all good men and women must take responsibility to create legacies that will take the next generation to a level we could only imagine. So what does it mean to leave a legacy? Someone once said that the definition comes from what he learned as a young boy and a Boy Scout. Leave your campfire better than you found it. So it is with life. To leave a legacy means to leave the places you go and the people you meet a little better than you found them. Time on earth is so very short, and we want to make a mark and leave behind a small part of ourselves. Like the wind, we come and go, but we hope that when we depart, something, however small, is a little different because we were there. My father, like us all, had many faults, but I truly believe that the good heavily outweighed the bad. As I end today, I would like to challenge our youth and young people to love and to honor your parents. Make the time to be with them, to share the time you can, when you can. Always do whatever you can to help them. Spoil them, pamper them, and help them in all things, as if today was their last day on earth. May the good Lord bless each and every one of you who are here today. In all your endeavors that you seek, always seek Him, and He shall give. I would like to close today with one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. The mighty King David wrote in the book of Psalms of his great confidence he had in God's mercy and will for us all. From the 23rd chapter in the book of Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou runneth over. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Mahalo.